Congratulations, you were just named Eastern Conference Coach of the Month.
Thank you.
I know that you've always been quick to defer the credit, teammates, coaching staff, but it's your first one. How does it resonate with you?
What I thought about, three things. This is a roster that's talented, that has great continuity, and that's together. And that's really what it comes down to. It's 99% that and 1% coaching. I really believe that. When you have a team that's so connected, so talented, plays together, makes my job a lot easier. So it's really a big credit to the players.
What do you think has been so key to that 1% coaching that you
Oh man, yeah, just I think it's promoting. How should I say? Like confidence, like coaching these guys up. See where the possibilities where they can go, um, you know, and we're playing with great confidence, and I think it's one of my strengths. Think of Darius and Donovan and letting those guys know how good they are. Evan too, and then you know pushing them a little to get to the next level. So, but as you know, Serena, a long way to go. A lot of basketball to be played. So, looking forward to these next what is it, 62 or 60 something games.
something like that?
Yeah.
A lot. Chris.
Hey Kenny, you've mentioned continuity a lot throughout the course of
Yeah.
this first month, and you mentioned it when you took over the job as well. Where have you seen that continuity manifest itself in game situations?
Oh, I think it's both ends. How connected we are. Defensively first. Guys covering for each other a lot. There's a breakdown and starts with our two bigs that we mess up a switch or mess up a situation, and we got two bigs that cover for us. They cover for each other, so it manifests that a lot on the defensive end, and then offensively, I think it's kind of the willingness to make your teammate better. And there's so many pieces to that. I'll give you one specific is just our transition. It takes all five guys to run to be a really good transition team. Not just one guy running with the ball, right? We need blockers. We need guys running their routes, and everyone's willing to do that to get help the ball handler out. And that's constantly moved around. Evan could be bringing it up. Donovan could bring it up. Darius could bring it up. So they are, they're all trying to help each other get better.
And at the beginning of the year, the Evan Mobley usage was very, very different from years past. Inverted pick and rolls, the touches, where he was getting them. In what way have you seen opponents adjust to that, try and limit those kinds of things as this year has gone on and they recognize the changes?
Yeah, I mean, you see the coverage solutions. I mean, you see it start in transition. You can see him when he brings it up. It's load, right? Everybody kind of crowd the paint. Don't let them get downhill. So you see that, and then with the inverted pick and rolls, there's different coverages. Teams starting to show hedge, whatever you want to call it. So that's a real credit to him. And now those are layers we have to help him with what the reads look like. I keep saying the next step for Evan is being able to play out of that closeout. Even better, and there's still a little, some hesitancy to shoot the ball. We trust his shot. We love him shooting the ball. So that's going to help your closeout offense when you can keep them honest. They close out a little harder. Now, once he gets downhill, it's kind of over with his athleticism and finishing ability.
Thank you.
Sam.
Kenny, 2 nights ago you played the defending champs, and now, 2 nights later you're playing a team that's
Yeah.
young, struggling, finding its way, not winning games. Is there any kind of, not necessarily concern, but maybe a difference in approach to, hey, we got to make sure that we
Oh yeah, Sam. I'm a coach. These are the games that make you nervous. You know, the Boston game. You kind of know. Kind of the level you got to bring. I always say these games. It's like shows your maturity level, like how mature you are, because. I look over that team and I see, knowing Jordan Poole and Koulibaly, knowing all those guys, we know it's not going to be easy. But one of our strengths so far has been a professional approach each day, no matter who we're playing. I expect the same tonight. We've been really good, kind of. No matter what the opposition is playing to our standards, not necessarily. It's not necessarily about the opponent.
Chris.
Coach, of all the numbers offensively where you're really good, is there a metric that is sustainable, you think, for an entire season?
That's funny. I was thinking about, I think we're number one in the league in transition efficiency. I was thinking how many teams have won NBA championships, being great in transition. So maybe you can look that up for me. I think of LeBron's teams, and even back then, even with the Lakers, they were really good in transition. I'd like to keep, not because I want to be great in transition for the sake of being great, because I think it fits our team. We have great team speed, and with the bigs, we got bigs that can really run the court, and we got great shooting. So to get those guys into space and into free space is huge for us. And I like that we're a paint team. We're not just a three-point shooting team. We get to the rim, I think, top 6 in the league, number 1 or 2 in drives. So we're paint and rim first. So I'd love to keep that going. So maybe those are kind of 2 areas that I'd love to see. We continue, and I think those are 2 things that can help you in the playoffs.
Just a real follow-up.
Yeah.
Knowing you have really good shooting, but you've got 2 bigs, and there was a time in this league where people kind of got away from 2 bigs.
Yeah.
Is that just a byproduct of just roster construction, or was that actually planned?
I think it's part of, yes, I think it was part of the roster construction. I always look at it as a positive. We can go 2 bigs, we can go a big and kind of four shooters or 4 perimeters. And we can also, with Dean Wade, we can go with 5 perimeters, because Dean Wade's 6'9.5", and we can switch with them. And I mean, the luxury we have, and Drew, you know this better than anybody. In the playoffs, every series is different. It might be a 2 big series. It might be a 1 big series. It might be a series where, oh man, we got to break Dean out at the 5. So I celebrate our kind of versatility. We can kind of go 3 different ways. I think that really helps you in the playoffs.
I just laugh because I'm 6'9.5" too. I didn't know people reference that. I'm throwing my half in there too.
But they started playing you at the 5, right?
I started at the 3. I ended up at the 5. Well, I really ended up as a clapping 5.
But you're in that Dean Wade. Those guys are so valuable now. Gives you that. And like Drew, Dean can defend too, and he can protect the rim. It's like, man, what a luxury for our team, for the coaching staff to have that versatility.
What has Okoro's defensive versatility meant to this team? Because you got Allen, you got the bigs, and then you got the guards who are doing a good job defensively. And just wanted to get your assessment of that.
Yeah, it gives you such a, comfort level to have that guy you can stick on somebody, whether it's a Trae Young, so whether it's a point guard, or we can say, hey, go guard Jason Tatum tonight. Isaac can guard 4s. He can also switch onto 5s because he's so strong. So you have that. Now you add the shooting he's given us, adding those 2 things, and the cutting and rebounding. Now, he's kind of a little bit been not talked about, but he's been great. We're using him in the pocket too, in the pick and roll, and made those 2 big plays at the end of the game against Boston. So, but it's an absolute luxury, right? We can use this guy as our Swiss Army knife, guard anybody. he's been great for us.
It's kind of like the Drew Gooden
Of wings, yeah, exactly. No, he'll be at the 5 soon. The way this thing's going.
Danny.
Kenny, one of the things you mentioned last week was that who you are as a team early in the season can be pretty indicative of who you are at the end of the season, maybe more so than in the middle of the season. Why is that?
Good question. I think you really establish your identity like these first 20, 25 games, like who we're going to be. And for the coaching staff, it's really about, funny, when I was a young coach, I love what are our weaknesses? What can we get better at? And I think more when you have a team like this, like what are our strengths and how can we double down on our strengths? So it gives you a real indication, because before that you're still trying to figure out who are these guys, who are we, what's our team now. Now 20, 25 games in, you're like, man, we're really good at these things. Sure, maybe we could improve some of our weaknesses, tweak our weaknesses, but can we double down on where we're good, where we're really good already?
When did that change for you as a coach?
Yeah, I don't know. I think again, I think it's a little bit of inexperience as a coach. You try to, man, we got to get better at all these different things, and you end up chasing your weaknesses instead of doubling down on your strengths. You still have to know where other team defend, like where they're going to attack you, where we can get a little better, but definitely have shifted that mindset. I think that's part of my growth, part of coaching development, and being around a lot of great coaches. Really has really helped me.
Last two, Spencer, then Tim.
More of a broad question, not really pertaining to your strategy, but switching's been very prevalent defensively across the league, and honestly, like, it's kind of trickled down to why is it so effective? And it's like sometimes defenders aren't staying on to guys and not doing the lock and trail and all that. Like, why has that changed?
Good question. I know we're doing a lot. I think we're number one in switching pick and rolls right now, number 1 or 2, and I think there's a lot of things that go into it. I think one I think it's kind of a statistical fact now. The more you switch, the less three-point attempts go down. Keep a body on a body. You negate an advantage when you're in kind of coverage or whatever. They can get a 2-on-1 situation. So the switch kind of, boom, I got you. Man on man. Now you got to do all the things that are necessary to be a good switch team. But I think the 3-point, if I gave you one reason, probably limiting threes is a big reason.
Okay. And then you spoke about balance offensively last time we talked. Jarrett's shot attempts have been down the last few games. Is there anything that you guys are going to try to do to try to get him more involved?
I'll just, how sometimes the point guards, some games they have 25 points, and some games they have 6 points, depending on how the defense is playing. So I think it happens with bigs too. I think he's such a, does he lead the league in field goal percentage? Like, he's such a danger at the rim. Teams are saying, okay, we're taking that away, and that's what I see. So it's a lot of it is about coverages and how they're playing us, and he'll get back to games where he, how big, last Washington game he had a big game. So it's not necessarily him. I'd say it's more how teams are playing us. But if they're going to take away him, now we have take away our tight end. Maybe our wide receivers will be open. We'll get more corner threes, stuff like that. But I'd love to see him. The next step for him is when they do take him. Are you going to be better on the boards? So Jay's got to get back to that elite offensive rebounding. We're really on him about that.
Tim, wrap it up.
All right, Tim.
Kenny, a couple games back, I asked you about the 20-25 game feel or identity.
Yeah.
I think you just referenced it. So are there benchmarks? You're an analytical guy. Do you now say, okay, in the next 20 or by the halfway point, this is what we need to be, or this is where I'd like to be?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm an analytical guy. I'd say I'd listen to analytics. I'm not like, yeah. And like I always say, we get great information, and that's part of your decision-making process. But like I said, yeah, we're starting to cement some things where we're because of that sample size. That's a solid sample size. It's kind of been proven. Not saying, you know, we're not going to adapt and change if things start. You got to know when trends change and when you start slipping in areas. You know, like I said, I think we're in a good place right now, and again, letting the guys know we're really good in these places. Let's keep doing. Let's do it more on both sides of the ball.
And in the world of the NBA chess match amongst
Yeah.
coaches, you haven't seen everybody yet, but how much of that plays into adjustments you anticipate from the opposition?
Yeah, I think the position we're in, you know, we definitely keep an eye on the league, what the league's doing and what the best teams are doing. And I know always in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you know, you're thinking playoff. When you have a team like this, you're thinking playoffs. What if we play the Celtics again? Like, we have not been great against them offensively. They've stymied us. It's like, man, your wheels back here tonight, Washington, but you're also thinking, you know, how can we score against these guys? You're going to play the Clippers, you know, with Zubac and their group and how good they are. You're just thinking, you know, how we can tweak things a little bit against the best teams. That's really kind of the mindset when you have a strong team like ours.